What's up, people? It's another edition of the New Breed Podcast, the world's best new metal adjacent podcast from two dudes who are really there. I'm one half of your host and duo, Jay Horscow. With me, I have my partner in crime, the notorious TIM, Tim Anderson Jr. Tim, how's it going?
Great, man.
And joining us this week, folks, with our special guest from, I believe it is Missouri, if I nailed it correctly, Nate
Yep.
Diley from the band MirrorCell. Nate, thanks for joining.
Dude, thank you so much for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here.
We are stoked to have you.
Let's start with this. I feel terrible because I was going through our Instagram messages and I was like, let me clean these up real quick because there's always like you get a million other things like we want to sponsor you and it's like some clothing company that's really not a clothing company.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it's like I go through all of them and then I see your message and I was like, oh shit, I totally forgot to get back to this dude. And now because I remember listening to it, I was like, this shit rips. And then I was like, now I feel like a fucking asshole. Let me get back to this guy. So, but yeah, man, sorry it took like a year. My bad.
No, dude, it's perfect timing too, because honestly, if we would have done it before, there probably wouldn't have been as much to talk about. So it's great that we did it. That I guess it worked out this way.
Yeah, there you go. All right, now I don't feel as bad. Cool.
There we go. Hey,
Cool. Yeah.
serendipity. It all kind of works. So Nate, you guys just had an EP come out. I believe it was October, right? Reflecting the Inner Self. Was that it? October?
Yep. October 25th.
Tim, what'd you think?
Dude, it's killer, man. Seriously. I was just watching your guys' video for ah, let me see if I remember the title of it. I know it's track one, right? Tongues, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, dude. Good stuff, man. I like the throwback look at that one.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that was incredibly intentional. Like the first cut that we got of that music video, it was like super clean and polished, and I was like, not change that aspect ratio, run it through a CRTV. Like it's gotta look gross, gotta look terrible in the best way.
Yeah, dude, it's a great song too, man. Seriously.
Thanks, I
Yeah,
appreciate
I
it, man.
I dug it. When I first put it on, I went in not expecting anything. Really enjoyed it. There's definitely some hints of the Deftones in there, so some Glassjaw hints. Obviously Mood Ring was the first thing I thought of, like, oh, these guys are neck and neck with Mood Ring, like hitting that vein where the guy can actually sing, right? So the vocals actually ring through. But yeah, I dig it. I dig it. So I guess Nate, the obvious lazy question to start with would be, let's talk about influences. So where did you, what when you're not making your own music, what are you listening to?
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, you nailed it on the head with some of those influences for like Tongues and for some of the other tracks that we have. Mood Ring, I think they're a great modern band that definitely are in the same vein as us when it comes to blending new metal and shoegaze and metalcore, whatever. And yeah, I think they're really good. I think Hunter's an insanely talented vocalist as well, and they were definitely an influence in the beginning when starting this project. Um, but yeah, I mean, like just on a day-to-day basis, it really just, I guess, depends on what I'm feeling or what the mood is. Seasons too.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of weird shit like Bjork and Portishead, but I also try to stay current and listen to bands like Mood Ring and Static Dress and Omerta and stuff like that. So, um, I guess now I've been on a big typo kick because it's fall time.
It's the
Oh
Got
yeah.
season.
time to listen. Yeah.
Ha
So typo, Misfits. Yep.
have you heard Neon Nightmare?
No.
Oh,
Dude, I'm about to tell
Put
you
me
to
on.
just come back in an hour. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously,
Okay.
after this
yeah,
episode, fine. We'll link it to you before you leave. That record, well, it's an EP, I guess. It's very long EP, but dude, it is so fucking good. If you like typo, you'll love it.
yeah, yeah. But
Okay.
it's not a
Yeah.
but it's not a blatant typo ripoff where you're like, oh my god, this guy's just ripping off Peter Steele. Like
Yeah.
it's definitely got I mean, I don't know, Tim. Would you say it's like a typo mixed with like some of that synth wave stuff a little bit?
It's got hints of it, yeah, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's definitely more on the metal side of like a typo sound. I mean, yeah,
So kind
yeah,
of
they're
more like the carnivore sound.
Yes.
yes and
Yeah.
no. See, I'm not a fan of the
Okay.
carnivore stuff actually, but yeah, I mean, it's more modern typo, I guess you could say, with just heavier guitar riffs in it.
Sick.
It's really good though, man. Like I put it on and I was blown away, dude. The first listen, I was like, put it back on. Just let it go again because it's really that good,
Yeah,
man.
you're gonna want to check that out.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that like the time with it. I mean, it sucks because it gets so dark now and everything, and it's getting closer and closer to winter. But the current like climate and the weather out, at least here in Kansas City, it's just perfect typo weather, post-punk stuff. Like that's whenever I listen to that music the most is during this time. So definitely put me on that while it's still pretty out.
Oh, definitely. All right, Jay, let's ask him. Are you a fan of
I
Soft Kill?
yes.
I love Soft Hill,
All
dude.
There
They're
right.
you
just in
go.
Kansas City.
All right.
Yes.
See, I was going to ask what his favorite typo album is because I think you can tell a lot about somebody by what their favorite typo album is.
Oh shit. I go back and forth between October Rust and Bloody Kisses. But
I would agree.
Yeah, yeah.
it's
October
a
Rust is
tie.
it for
Tie.
me.
It's a
Yeah,
perfect record.
But I mean,
it is.
even a World Coming Down, some of their later albums, they are good for. Uh, rest in peace, Peter Steele. They're good for at least 4 to 5 songs on every album where you're like, shit, that's a fucking banger. Like, I mean, towards the end, you could tell that it was losing a little bit of steam, but maybe I think I know they were drinking a lot. There was a lot of drugs involved, but man, I Don't Want to Be Me is a great song. It's a great song.
It is. Yeah.
So Nate,
It's
did this start as a one man band that you kind of expanded out, or like where did the genesis of the idea come from?
yeah. So the pandemic happened and I wasn't really doing much with music and like other projects and stuff I was in the past. And I had some solo material that I was working on with my co-producers. His name's Caleb Fryhot. He plays guitar in the band called The Funeral Portrait.
Okay.
Um, and my friend Ben McGinnis as well. And we were just kind of like just fucking around and making some like solo project music. And we wrote a song called Drown Me. And then we then wrote another Zombie and then Bleach. And like by the time we got to Bleach, we were like, this needs to be like its own project. And so it completely shifted. And then that's whenever I was like, okay, we this has to be like a band and has to be a performing act. So it was around that time, and yeah, it's been pretty much just us three. I have like a full band now, but it's whenever it comes to writing and producing, it's just us.
Jay, how did you know it was a one man thing?
I read the bio and I listened to everything and a lot. I mean, Tim, I think if we were to go back, if you and I were to actually sit down with Roman Scratch, right, and count the number of bands that we've interviewed that start as one man bands and they just go from there, it's
Yeah.
the technology makes it so easy these days, right? It's not like, you're hanging flyers in the local record store like, yo, I need a bassist. I need a bassist that plays a 4 string with a pick that can actually get the tone that I'm looking for. Those days are long gone. Maybe think of it. Maybe think of. I saw somebody sent me some retarded video where somebody plays master puppets with some effects pedal that makes every note sound like a fart, and I'm like, I thought to myself, you can do anything these days with just the right patch cable and some initiative. You can basically do anything.
Pandora's box is
Absolutely.
open.
Yes, yes.
I'm all for it, man.
Yeah,
Are we
yeah,
And
man. It was. Oh, sorry. I
no, no, no.
think
Go
I
on,
lagged
go on,
out
Nate,
there
go
for a
on, go
second.
on.
I was just gonna say, yeah, it was. I didn't think that it was gonna really be anything with after the first two tracks that we had written. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna put this stuff out for fun and um, just kind of go from there. And that's why the songs sound so kind of mixed matched on the EP. Is because they were all written in like different times where I wasn't sure like what the project was gonna sound like yet. Like Drown Me is a straight up like sworn in style alt mid like deathcore song in my opinion.
Hmm.
And Zombie has like weird EDM influences and stuff. And then like when we got to Bleach, it was like incorporating that like Lothy Deftone style chorus. I was like, this is actually kind of cool. And then whenever that was after or that was before, then we started writing Tongues and Dissolve and everything else. So that's why those things kind of all sound the same.
Well, I will say this: from my first time listening, I didn't pick up on the fact that they were all written at different times. It sounded pretty coherent to me, like cohesive. I listened to through and I went, I'll do that because Tim was like, "Yo, don't forget we have this guy coming on," and I went, "Oh, I'll listen to that again." And I actually got a guy. Actually, this morning even I went back to it. I got 3 listens, and I'm like, "Yeah, this is really fucking good. I really like this." Yeah, it's definitely. You nailed it, right? Anybody who likes the Deftones, Load is a great band to call out. There's definitely some spiritual symmetries there. Um, yeah, I dig it. I dig it.
Yeah, I mean, and
Dude, thanks
and
so much.
like it shows for you too, like us, offering you to come on because it's like there's a lot of bands these days that like send over stuff and you're just like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like
Yeah.
we've like you heard it 3 billion times and it's just like Jesus Christ. But like
Yep.
when you get something that's actually good, like what I noticed with you guys is the recording's good. So automatically I'm like, all right, I automatically give it a chance if the recording's good, first off. If I
Yeah.
turn it on and it's 2024 and it sounds like shit, I'm like, come on,
Well,
dude.
if it sounds like shit, your first thought is this black metal? Because if it's
Yeah,
black
well,
metal, it's supposed to sound like it was
no,
recorded
no.
like
I
on a
mean,
tape deck in someone's garage, right? You know?
no, I mean, I just mean like in a modern,
Yeah.
metalcore feel. Like you just have to be on point these days. Like just make it sound good, or no one's gonna pay attention to it. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
I always go back to the idea too that like take a fucking risk on your chorus or
Yep.
on your verses or something, man, because it's like the amount of fucking bands I hear that just have that same repetitive, just regurgitated choruses that all sound the same. They have the same melodies. Like I don't get how there's a fucking demographic for it because every fucking band sounds that way. And that's something at least I'm trying to incorporate with MirrorCell is like we have weird choruses with weird melodies that at first whenever you might listen to it you might not expect it or you might be kind of taken back by it, but after listening to it a couple times, like I want it to feel authentic and I want it to feel unique in its own with the amount of oversaturation, at least in the metalcore scene.
Yeah,
I,
I mean, and you nailed it too, because I actually, I really, really like the band name. Like, it's just like I mean, it's different, but it's like it comes off the tongue well as well.
I
Thanks,
was
man.
gonna say, in all the years we've been doing this show, I think Nate just nailed the best quote we've ever gotten out of a recording artist, which is take a fucking risk.
Yeah,
Right? Like, I mean, playing it safe, what's that going to get you? What's that going to get you? Right? Like, unless you're making Hatebreed-esque hardcore, where every band sounds the same, and that's fine because sometimes you just want to put on mesh shorts and punch somebody in the face. Like, I get it. I get it. But if you're going to do your own shit, you got to take a risk and differentiate yourself from the rest of the herd. And I agree. I agree with what Tim said. Yeah, this stuff it definitely stood out in my ear, which is
yeah,
kind of impressive.
yeah. I mean, and
Yeah,
that
that's
wasn't a
kind of
slight on anyone at all. That's not really what I was trying to say at
no.
all. It's just like these days with the amount of music that comes out, like you have to
Yes.
stand out.
Yes. If
And
it doesn't get yeah.
I'm one of them dudes. Like I'm a music snob, so like if right away if I'm like, ugh, I'm just not going to pay attention to it. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, that's not slighting anyone at all. Like I respect anyone that gets out there and does it, but you have to be unique these days for a lot of
Yes.
people to catch on to it. So you guys, you got that going. I'll tell you that much.
Thanks, man. Yeah, and I want to clarify that too. Like, I'm not sliding anyone out like at all. I'm homies with a lot of people that are in bands that are like that,
Yeah,
and I'll still support them and I still listen to their music. But whenever I am discovering new artists, that is kind of my mantra with things. It's like, can I tell that this artist is being authentic and trying something different, or are they just doing the same copy and paste thing? And you know like you said, like you gotta stand out and you gotta be unique in your own way. And I think that also falls in hand with like aesthetically as well. Like
definitely.
don't just wear the same fucking thing
Yes.
everyone else is wearing. Like that's why we look weird and shit, and it's because like it's intentional. And it's like I saw people like making fun of like how we looked on the internet after we put the EP out, and I was like, yes, that's what I wanted. I want us to stand out because we're not up there just wearing fucking band t-shirts and the same bullshit that everyone else is wearing.
Mm-hmm.
Or looking like we shop at H&M, like we're wearing some weird shit. And those were the bands that stood out to me whenever I was growing up and shit. And it's like that's what I want for the generation of, I guess, newcomers in music that are going to listen to us.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
I would argue that we're slowly reaching a point where aesthetics almost become just as, if not more important than the music
So
itself.
is.
Because otherwise, you get right, Tim, you get lost, right? You get lost. Like, and now you're starting to see bands of everybody comes out with the same dress shirt or everybody wears the same. Like, I think that's back to Typo Negative, right? Their aesthetic was uniquely recognizable. You could see someone 100 feet away in at a show, and you instantaneously know if it's a Typo shirt or not because you could just tell by the way the letters are laid out and the colors and Code Orange, right? Code Orange is, I think they're one of those bands that
Perfect
their
example.
aesthetic is like you can't help but know that that is something Code Orange related. Like I think that that's along with the music, but you need to have a palette, right? We talked about this, Tim, with Harvey from Graphic Nature. Like
I was
their
literally just
their
going to say
visuals.
same thing.
Yep, it's all they
I
have a
fucking
certain
love Graphic
palette.
Nature.
Oh, that album is
Dude,
unbelievable,
holy
unbelievable.
shit.
And
So
that's
sick.
and
Yeah.
and that's basically what me and Jay are saying. Like the thing with Graphic Nature is like they have that greenish hue to everything, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
that's them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean like that
Yep.
that's the shit these days that I'm like, yeah, dude, like I love it. It's the same with a lot of the bands that we talk to, like you guys and stuff like that. I just have that special thing going on. It's because a lot, like I said, a lot of bands just don't have it these days, and
Yep.
it's so easy to just sit here and record something and be like, here we go. And people just fucking drool all over it. I'm like, what are you hearing that I'm not,
Yeah.
Have
So,
you guys heard of the band from the UK called Split Chain?
yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. I'm friends with their drummer. He used to be in a band that we were pretty close with, and it was really cool to see him take on that project and see where they're at now. And same thing, like they have such a dialed in aesthetic with the blues and everything that they do.
Yeah. That
And
typo
yeah,
cover's great.
dude, it's so cool. Yeah. I thought it was awesome. I was like, damn, I was like, I wish I could have done that first.
Right. I have on Apple Music, I have them as like a favorited band. So every time they put out a single, it'll alert me and I'm like, please tell me this is a record. And it's always a single, and I'm like, they have to be putting a record out. I'm sure you know if they are, but you don't have to tell me. But like, I'm like,
I
dude,
don't
I need a
know.
record.
I mean, with the amount of touring that they're doing, it's impossible to think that they're not gearing up for that, though.
Yeah. Great fucking band though, man.
Yeah, I love them, man. They're sick.
I'm
Shout
glad
out
you
Aaron.
said I'm glad you said they're from the UK, because me and Jay have this thing going on the last literally 2 years where it's like every band that we like send back and forth, we're like, dude, this band is really fucking good. We need to talk to these guys. And then we look them up, UK. I'm like, God damn
We're
it.
like, oh fuck, what time is it over there? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
even like there's even some stuff. I mean, UK, Europe. I mean, one of the nice things about the internet is we can experience all these bands from these different places. But one of the hard parts is like we tried to get, I think it's .bhp on, right? That new album is great, new metal
yeah.
esque, female vocals. We're all here for it. It's brutal trying to schedule that stuff. It's brutal because I mean, what do we either have to ruin someone's weekend or Tim and I got to take off work, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. What are they? Poland?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's not too bad though.
So Nate, part of my ignorance, have you guys started playing out? Like, have you done some shows?
Dude, we're about to.
Awesome.
We, yeah, December 14th, we're going to be playing in St. Louis, which that's kind of like the weird thing about MirrorCell is like half of us are from Kansas City and the other half are from St. Louis. And then Caleb and Ben, my co-writers, are from St. Louis. So we kind of have like a split demographic. And Missouri's weird. Like St. Louis is only like 3 hours away from Kansas City, and we're also technically in Kansas as well. So it's like we're like 20 minutes away from Kansas. Um, so yeah, December 14th, we're playing with our friends in Dead Seven. They also write with Caleb and Ben. Cohen Noise, which they're from Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken. Another band called Careful Gaze, and another St. Louis local called White Rose.
Awesome.
So that's gonna be our debut, and then December 17th, we're gonna be playing technically a hometown show in Kansas with Crown Magnetar
Oh,
and
nice. Okay.
Extortionist.
Oh, no
Yeah,
shit. You're
Oh
on
yeah.
that show. Yeah, that I am not, my ears are not looking forward to that because Tim and I were just talking about they just yeah, Extermination Dismemberment just released that first album that they did. They re-recorded it. and the bass drops, they almost break my speaker. Like my speaker cuts out
Dude.
because you hear a through, and I'm like, what the? And it's nonstop. Yeah, my ears are not going to be happy with that one.
Yeah,
Are
I
they
was kind
playing
of
that show too?
hesitant. Oh, sorry.
Hmm.
Yeah, yep.
They're
It's
playing.
and
Okay.
Arsenio Row as well.
Yeah, you got the
Okay.
full lineup, all like 4 or 5 bands. Yeah,
That's gonna
that's
be
awesome.
sick.
Yeah, I was a little hesitant at first because obviously we're kind of out of place with all of our clean courses, and that's primarily going to be like a deathcore crowd. But I feel like, especially with like a band like Extortionist being on the bill, they're kind of like us too when it comes to the different choruses and not just being blast beats the entire time. And I also feel like what I was trying to say is that they're like we're in a weird time where like a lot of people that it's not as like tribal where like a lot of people that listen to deathcore also listen to like Deftones and shit and a lot of new metal stuff,
Hmm.
and it's much more open now. So I feel like at least for us, like we have heavy songs that will get the crowd like, oh, okay, like these guys are heavy, but then whenever we bust out a pretty sounding song like Dissolve, I feel like there will be people out there that will be like, oh, I like this because I like Sleep Token or because I like Deftones or Loathe and shit. So that's why I was like, ah, fuck it, we'll book this show.
I
It'll be fun.
I I
Yeah.
think I actually think you're going to get people paying attention. I mean, I was telling Tim, I saw that Signs of the Swarm tour. Cane Hill got probably the biggest reaction of the night, aside from the headliner, and they were playing music that is not like Signs of the Swarm or Awaken Providence, right? Like, there's something to be said about. I think Adam from Orthodox talked about that. There's something to be said about being either the heaviest band on a light bill or the lightest band on a heavy bill. It helps you stand out, but you're still close enough that you're playing a home game. So that's awesome.
Well, those are the best shows too, because like I don't want to just listen to the same fucking band 6 times.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know, like
Like,
mixed bills, right? Bring us back to mixed
yeah,
bills. Yeah.
please.
Yeah. I don't see anything wrong with you guys open. Or are you guys opening the show?
Yeah, yep, we're in
Yeah.
support.
That's
Yeah. I don't
awesome.
see anything wrong with that because I see it's just another example of taking a chance right there. You know what I mean? It's they're either gonna love you or hate you. It doesn't really matter because they're still listening. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, have a bunch. I mean, look at all those bands. What was it? Prince, that famous story where he opened. I think he opened for the Stones. They were throwing beer bottles at him, and he walked off the stage and he went into the studio and he said, "I'm never opening for anybody ever again." And he wrote Little Red Corvette or whatever it was. Like, you gotta go for it. And so you were
Dude.
talking about it, Nate. Bands sometimes they go for it. You can tell it's disingenuous, right? You can tell they're just the lazy example is bolting in clean vocals. Hey, let's
yeah, oh
throw
yeah,
some cleans in here, right? Just for the sake of, oh, let's keep things different. And there are some bands that try it and it doesn't land because you can tell. I mean, like Tim, you said you're a music snob, right? Well, with a discerning ear, when someone said, okay, here's going to be the cleans, then we're going to have a nice soaring bridge, then we're going to
absolutely.
go into a Stephen Carpenter type pre-chorus, like you, your brain picks up on when they kind of just like put the pieces together and said, hey, look, here's the meal.
Absolutely. It's very, very
Yeah,
easy these days.
it's got to make sense too. Some of the new material that we're working on, because I have to travel down to St. Louis to record, and the first time we were writing this song, I sent it to you guys. I don't know if you checked it out or not. But there, were, I tracked this one chorus idea, and it was just super weird and a lot of falsetto notes, and I just wasn't sure. And when I first listened to it, I was like, oh man, this just sounds really off-putting or just kind of random or kind of odd. And there was another idea that was more, I guess, kind of like basic rock or basic metalcore with the chorus. And I drove back to St. Louis like 2 weeks later because I was like, I can't, like, I have to demo this out. I have to record this. I have to know what it could sound like. And after we recorded it, I was like, nah, the other one is weirder and the other one is more unique. I'd rather do that than something that's just too formulaic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I tell Tim the story all the time. The first time I heard Limp Bizkit, I hated it. I was like, this guy's voice is fucking terrible. Like, who enjoys this, right? Like, he's just yelling into the microphone. But then I listened to it again, and I listened to it again, and I listened to it again, and now they're probably my favorite new metal band. Like,
It grows on you.
it's like to your point, they love you or they hate you, but they're gonna go back. If they love you, they're gonna go back and they listen because they enjoy it. If they don't like it, they're going to go back because they're going to want to say, "Oh, I got to form an argument as to why this sucks." And if you go in even convinced that I'm going to tell somebody that this sucks, after a while, you're like, "I think I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I think I'm wrong."
Yeah.
It's like when people say Nickelback sucks, but they don't really listen to them riffs. Like they got riffs, dude.
Yo, those guys write
Dude,
fucking
Nickelback
hits.
fucks.
Yeah.
Nickelback, Creed. I don't care what. I don't care. I don't care. Like that is well written fucking rock music. I'm sorry. They deserved all the kudos they got. All right, Nate, I got a couple questions for you. We typically ask our band attendees. I usually stump. I'm going to stump you with at least two or three of them. First one is, who's your dream collab? Like if you got to pick up your phone and say, all right, yo, and they can't say no, this is who I want to collaborate with. Who would be your dream collaboration?
Easy. Trent Reznor.
That's a good one.
That's a very good one.
That's a really good one. He
Love
might
it.
do it too.
And, like I would. I mean, that'd be awesome. That's the thing. Like I can think of other artists that were influential and that wouldn't really make sense, but I feel like Trent would make sense collabing with MirrorCell, especially with
I
our
don't.
darker industrial aesthetic. So
I like it.
Yeah, I do. All right, Nate, here's another one that I always trip people up on. So you're booking a tour, okay? And you get to pick the opener and the headliner. So you're playing direct support. You have to pick the
okay.
opener and you have to pick the headliner. Who do you go out with?
Oh shit.
That's usually
That
what people
sucks,
say.
man. That sucks because I don't want to like pick a band that like number wise is definitely doing better than my band and say like you're opening for us or you're below us, on
Hmm?
the bill. Like if anything, I would put myself in MirrorCell as the opener and then all the other bands. But um shit.
Yes. That's
Yeah,
always the stump.
everybody. This is the stumper for everybody.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Um there's a band I really like. Um they're called From Joy.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yes. That album is awesome.
So good. That's the thing. Like I said, I would put us opening for them. But if I had to pick a band, it would probably be them and then us. And then you said a headliner.
Yeah.
Any genre.
Any genre.
Yeah, I mean, shit, you could say Bjork.
Dude, yeah, fuck it. Bjork. So I can watch her every night. That lineup makes no sense. But I was trying to think of like other bands that are kind of like smaller and in like the same world as us. And a band I really like that I've been listening to a lot lately is called Bleed.
Oh
From
fuck yeah.
Texas, and I think they're like because they sound like Deftones and Crossfade like mixed together. Um, so I would pick them or Mood Ring. It would be cool to see them come back and play shows because I know they haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, we need
Or
more bleed.
Yeah. Yeah, Tim has
yeah,
been talking about
dude,
those guys nonstop.
Yeah. I can't stop listening to that EP. I love it.
so good, dude. I showed my wife them the other day for the first time, and it's like just so fucking sick.
That's wild that you picked From Joy because that one, Tim, I forgot how we found that. It showed up in one of our feeds and we passed it to
Yeah.
each other. And we were both like, yo, what is this? Like,
Yeah,
that is
really good, man.
really different, really good. I think they're heading out with, aren't they heading out with Chamber? I think.
Yep.
I think that made both of our top tens last year.
I actually think it did. What's the one
Yeah.
song where they had like a saxophone right before the breakdown? It was bananas. It was something
I'm
bananas.
trying to think.
I can't remember either.
Something bananas.
I just remember sending it to Tim and going, "Yo, check this out. Check out the saxophone." And you can tell when he starts typing and stops, starts typing and stops. He's like, "Yeah, this is kind of wild." Okay, so Bjork, Miracell, and From Joy. I would go see. I'd go fucking see that.
I actually have a different headliner that I
Okay.
feel like would make more sense. And that's this, I think they're from Japan, but they're called Pale Dusk.
Yes.
And they're so like weird and quirky. And they remind me so much of this band that I used to listen to called Gurgamesh, I think. Um, and they were this like Japanese like blend of like Machine Head and Linkin Park. Uh, and they were so fucking sick, and I loved them when I was growing up. So like when I heard Pale Dust for the first time, I was like, "Holy shit, this sounds like Gilgamesh." But I don't know, like more like refined, I guess, and not like blatantly trying to be like a new metal band.
And
Um,
how do we spell that? Because them two bands together, I need to hear.
yeah, dude. I think it's Girgugamesh. I don't.
Girgu.
Or wait, no, it's Guru Gamesh. So Gur
There it
Guru.
is. Giruga mesh. Mesh. Yep,
Yeah.
that popped right up.
Yep, got it.
Listen to their song "Asking Why" off of the I forget what the name of the album is. It's Green. But dude, holy shit, it's so fucking sick.
I gotta say, there was some really impressively unique stuff that comes out of Japan. Tim, what was that band that we were listening to? They do like a new metal sort of thing, but it's kind of heavier. It came they had an album and then they had an EP come out. It made my top 10 list last year. Shit, now I gotta look it up. It was called uh drum
Yeah,
roll.
that's a hard one to think about the way you explained it.
Yeah. Damn it. Or I guess I gotta look up last year's best but
You're gonna have
it
to.
was a Japanese band and the first one I can think of is it's not View from the Soyuz. What was the name?
That's who I was gonna say. That's
Yeah,
who
I
I
know
thought you meant. Yeah,
that's who you were gonna say.
great band either way though. While Jay's looking for that, so you said Pandemic Star. That's when you got this together. So what bands were you in before this? Like, what were you guys doing? Was it like deathcore stuff before this? What were you doing before this?
Yeah, I was just in like a couple of just like metalcore bands around Kansas City and didn't really do much. And it was like that was that was the main reason why I had like such a I guess like strong mindset of what I wanted MirrorCell to sound and look like because the past projects I was in, it was just too like simple of music, I guess. I'm not trying to sound pretentious by saying that, but like it was too basic and
Yeah.
too like it was trying to replicate like bands like Motionless in White or Make Them Suffer and shit like that, or is like a little too close to sounding similar to bands like that. And I still love those bands. Like I still bop Motionless and Make Them Suffer and shit.
Hell
But
yeah.
I felt I felt like at least for me personally, like I don't want to say I outgrew that those bands, but I outgrew writing music that sounded like that.
Yeah, because there's already bands out there that have
doing it.
and
Yep.
that I mean doing it, but that have perfected it honestly. Because I honestly think Disguise is a perfect fucking record.
So good, dude.
And a lot of people when they like they know what I listen to and I get into. They're like, "You like Motionless and White?" I'm like, "Dude, Disguise is a fucking it's so good."
I I got to admit, man, I was never big into that metal that came out of the Warp Tour, right? Motionless and White,
Yeah,
Ice Nine Kills, and all that. There's times I picked it up and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give these guys credit. This isn't bad.
yeah,
This isn't
that
bad.
record's good, man. Like I can listen to that record over and over, and it does not get old for me. But I will say their newer stuff is a little hit or miss for me.
Mm,
But yeah, Disguise is a
mm.
perfect fucking record. So I mean, I see what you're saying.
I
Like
feel
you wanted to
that.
go
Yeah.
somewhere different because it's like, yeah, they did it. Like they perfected it basically. And Jay's right. Like I always
Right.
consider them just like that mall core band that's like actually
Yeah,
good. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. By the way, that Japanese band
Yeah.
was Evil Gloom.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
Yes, yes, yeah. Nate,
That's that
check that
dude.
out. It's
I
a new metal. So think Linkin Park metalcore. They have just enough new metal nods that you're like, I get where that's coming from. But then they take off in a different direction. You're like, oh shit, really good,
That's
really,
a
really
sick
good.
record. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
good.
dude, you gotta send me the links to this because I literally told myself I was like, I'm pretty sure these guys are gonna name drop so many bands that I need to write down, and I don't have my pen and
Yeah,
notepad.
turn your
Oh
So,
yeah, dude.
notifications off. We'll keep you up late.
all right, sweet, perfect,
Yeah,
perfect.
well, and we'll send you stuff on the Instagram as well too.
Yeah,
That's not
yeah.
a problem at all. So, being from Kansas City, are you familiar with Down the Sun?
No,
Wow. How old are you?
I'm 26.
Oh, that's not
Oh,
that's
he's
not
a
bad
young
then.
guy. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. How about have you heard of the band Gurney from Kansas City?
Yes. Oh, dude, I'm homies with Ryan.
Okay, well, yeah. So, what's his name? And I
Lance,
was
their
just about
bassist.
Lance
Yeah.
was in Down the Sun. Down the Sun was a huge new metal band. Shit, what they came out on their debut came out on Roadrunner. What
It was
2001?
it was Clown from Slipknot's imprint on Roadrunner.
Yeah,
It was the only album that he ever released, but they were one of the last. They were third wave new metal, but they were in that American Head Charge like late Slipknot vein of
yeah.
the stuff that was really heavy that was coming out that people were kind of drawing back a bit because they were expecting more Linkin Park and Creed, and they got this shit. But yeah, they were a hell of a band. He is the nicest dude. Lance
Yeah.
is the nicest dude, and he is funny as shit.
And they put out
That's
that
so
Gurney EP is
cool.
so fucking heavy too.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
So who's
that's
Brian?
awesome.
Is Brian the guitar player?
Ryan,
Oh,
and
Ryan,
yeah,
yeah.
he owns a little not tattoo piercing shop in Lee Summit called Radiance Piercing. That's where I've got like all my piercings done.
Oh, okay, all right.
So I've been homies with him for a while. He's such a nice guy, and that's crazy that you guys know Bernie and stuff like that too. It's
Oh
just
yeah, dude.
where are you guys located, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm right outside of Philly.
Same. He's in
Okay,
Pennsylvania outside Philly. I'm in Jersey outside Philly.
wait, small world, man.
Yeah, it kind
Hell
of
yeah,
is
dude.
wild. Kind of is wild. Then again, Lance is kind of hard to miss with a. He's got a goatee that comes down to his belt buckle, right? I mean, you can't miss that guy. But no, that's awesome. That is really, really awesome. So, good. You guys got some shows coming up. New recorded stuff, Nate. What's going on? You guys still working some stuff out, recording, got some tracks. What's next? An EP, a full E? What are you doing?
I don't know what I'm technically allowed to talk about, but I don't really care. We're tracking a record, our first full length.
Nice.
Um, can't can't really say when it's going to come out yet because I don't know myself. But we have definitely been working on it and writing it the past couple months. And then I actually leave to go down and just I'm going to get a really big writing session in, and we're going to try to get the foundation laid out a little bit more for what we want to do for this first full length. I got a lot of ideas. Um, and a lot of stuff kind of already pre-written, so it's just about really navigating it the best way.
Is this now? I seen the video earlier. That was what was it? In Vogue? Was that the label?
Yeah.
In Vogue,
Yep.
yeah.
Is that something? Is that what you guys are signed to that label?
Yep. Yep. So we technically re-released the EP under Invoke whenever
Okay.
we signed with them. They acquired everything, so that was why there was kind of a large gap with our releases. But yeah, we're on their team now.
And the new record. Okay, so new record will come out on there. Yeah, it's that
Yep.
when I seen the name of that, I was like, that sounds familiar, but I'm not really remembering anyone else that's on that label. I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, they're paired with Thriller Records as
Okay.
well. So it's kind of like a like combination of like all their bands. So they got a lot of like newer, younger bands, and a lot of the people that I'm friends with are in their camp as well. So it kind of made sense for us to go that direction as well.
Now, what is this scene like out in Casey? Because I know obviously we know Gurney stuff like that, but like I personally don't hear too many artists coming out of Casey. I mean, obviously you have the older stuff and all that, but like, what is like the scene out there like in there St. Louis? Because it seems like you guys go down there a lot. Like, is the scene, especially in the new genre, like how is the scene out there?
Uh, for Kansas City, it's pretty abysmal. Um, and that's why we haven't really ever like deemed ourselves as like a Kansas City local or a
Yeah, yeah.
Kansas local or St. Louis. Like we're everywhere, so we're just Missouri. But no, as far as Kansas City goes, like there's a scene out here. There's definitely a bigger hardcore scene. Um, out here than there is like for metalcore or for I guess like new metal, like new metal kind of music. But St. Louis has a pretty good scene when it comes to um, all genres, and Kansas is pretty good too. But I would say it's primarily like a hardcore crowd out here.
Well, St. Louis is also known these days for like the hip hop community as well. I think that's pretty huge
Yeah.
out there still.
Yep. Big hip hop community. The show that we're playing on the 14th is actually going to be my first show in St. Louis ever. So
Ooh.
I'm really looking forward to it.
What do they call that music? What do they call the hip hop out? Is it like drill? I think.
Yeah. That like Chief Keef kind of sounding
Yeah, like it's a like it
music.
all like see I'm a huge hip hop rap fan, but like it all that drill stuff, I guess you would call it, it all sounds exactly the same to me. Like I can
Yeah.
never
Yeah, it
differentiate
does.
like artists on there, but like I do like a lot of the beats and stuff, but like I do always see like St. Louis, St. Louis. I'm like, God damn, that scene out there is huge for that shit.
Being out on the East Coast, what's your favorite like rap group or artist?
Of all time,
Yeah.
Come
well,
on, it's Mob Deep. Come on.
it's yeah, it's Mob Deep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sweet.
Absolutely. I'm a
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
I
man.
mean, all New York hip hop. To me, I think that's the that's where the best
It's
hip
the
hop comes
best.
from. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
absolutely.
When you have
Yeah,
Wu-Tang,
definitely. Yeah. I mean, Nas, all
Onyx,
that shit. Yeah. Oh fuck yeah, dude. They're
I
still
love
putting out.
Onyx.
They're still putting out records. I love that. I love it. It's like you
Yeah,
think
man.
they like disappeared for a while, and then they put out three bangers in a row, and I was like, damn, dude, these dudes don't quit. I
Yeah.
love it.
It's
And they're
needed some.
still like,
Yeah, they're still going.
Still
yeah,
grimy
they're
as hell too.
still grimy, still aggressive. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I think they got even grimier the older they're getting. Like Fredo's just fucking nuts.
Yeah. Is
I
Sticky
think
still in
it,
the group?
Yeah, yeah. They're
Yeah.
doing a lot of
Figured.
solo stuff here and there. They're like working with Snow Goons a lot and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, they
Yeah.
put out a lot of good stuff, man. Great fucking. I would love to get them dudes on.
but to Nate's point about going for it, right? When you've been in the game that long, you've done all the things you're going to do. Once you realize that, okay, this is my spot, this is the niche that I fill. You want to talk about getting grimier and stuff? They can really afford to go for it because it's like, fuck, our fans are going to be on the ride with us.
Yeah,
Let's do some wild shit.
yeah. I mean, and hip hop right now that's your moneymaker, dude. Whether you like it or not, that's the moneymaker these
Yeah.
days in music. It's so easy to put out beats and just rap over. If you're a good rapper, you've got it made. If you can rap really good and your beats are just as good, you can pretty much make it in hip hop really easily.
So many
On the
producers too.
Yeah, and on the metalcore side, it's like you good luck, dude, because you're going against a million people.
Yes. Yes. There's a bazillion bands doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like podcasting. Me and Jay are going against, not that we're trying to make it huge and blah blah blah, but like it's, we're going against 60,000 other people that
Yeah.
are doing
Music
the
podcasts
same
like
exact thing.
the fucking Axe to Grind and Hardlore guys. It's like, yo, they've got a little bit of a head start with some name recognition, but whatever. We're just going to keep grinding it. Nate, I
Yeah.
do want to ask you, there's a Halloween poster behind you. So I want to ask you, what's the best horror movie you've seen this year?
Dude,
Oh shit.
I was literally just about to ask him that at the end.
We've been podcasting for too long together. We're starting to reach each other's minds. What's
Yep.
the best one you've seen? The one you were like, holy shit, this was awesome.
Fuck, dude. I hope you're ready to talk about this shit for hours.
Dude, we're
I'm a
ready.
cinephile, so I watch like 2 to 3 movies a day. Best horror movie. That's tough because my favorite movie that I've watched so far this year, surprisingly, was a Netflix movie called The Shadow Strays.
Mm.
Fucking
Huh.
insanely badass. It's an Indonesian film. It's borderline horror, but it's like if you take a movies like The Raid and Kill Bill and mix it with like the goriness of the sadness, like that's the movie. It's just insane.
Okay. I'm
Um,
in.
Jay, send that over to me
yeah,
because I know you
dude.
just wrote it down.
Yeah, I just wrote it down. I'll put it in
Yeah.
my Plex server.
Yeah.
Yeah, I I saw it. It was on Netflix, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And like the front cover of it reminded me of Kill Bill, with like the blood and the snow and stuff. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is probably cool, but I didn't think anything of it. And then I saw because I followed the director of The Sadness, on Instagram, and I saw him post about it, and I was like, okay, now I gotta check this out. Because if this dude's posting about this, like, there has to be something here. And it was like it feels like a video game, dude. It's kind of like watching John Wick for the first time with all the action, but they show like all the gory, like head explosions, head dismemberments and shit. It's hardcore.
Oh, I'm definitely
But
into
that's not
that.
a horror movie.
No. I mean,
Um,
keep going though. Keep going. I got.
Oh yeah, we could talk for an hour about this.
Easy. Favorite horror movie though, man. Well, I did just watch Strange Darling last night, and I did like it. I know there's a lot of discourse of people not liking it for some fucking reason, but it was awesome.
I thought.
I'm gonna cut you off. I'm sorry, Jay. Me and my girlfriend put it on, and halfway through, I was like, "What the fuck is going on in this movie?" And then
That's all
I
over the
read a
place.
little bit into it, and I was like, "All right, now I understand what's going on. Now I'm gonna rewatch it." So I will report back after I rewatch it. But yeah, I was a little, I was a little confused at first.
I thought it was really good. The wife and I sat down. Sam Hoyos from the Red River podcast posted about it, and I was like, "Oh, well." He says it's horror. We'll give it a go. I really liked that. I thought it was really different. And then when you read the story behind the movie, where the studio freaked out and said, "No, it needs to be in sequence," and the director said, "You can recut this movie in sequence, but you're taking my name off it. Like I don't want to."
Yeah.
I thought it was really good. I thought it was really good.
And what a flex in the beginning just to say shot on 35 millimeter. Like
Yeah,
just
yeah, it's one of these.
hang
Yeah,
dong.
yep.
Yeah. Everyone like because I'm huge like I use Letterbox more than I use like any other app on my fucking phone. And reading all the reviews on that, just being like, oh, imagine like putting that you shot this in 35 millimeter. Well, I'm like, dude, fuck you. Like no one shoots in 35. And also like it's cool that he said that because whenever I was watching it, I was like, dude, this movie is shot really well. I wonder
Yes.
why, and you
Hmm.
know why.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
what was shot really fucking well, and the color scheme was amazing. Was Long Legs. That movie looks so good, dude.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. My wife hated it. She hated
Really.
it. It might be divorce time, guys. It might be divorce time.
Oh
No.
no.
I get it. We watched it over 2 nights and we had puppies, so our mind was in another place. But I thought that was really well done. I do think well, I just think Nicolas Cage is a creepy dude in and of himself. Like if I walked into the men's room and he was in the urinal next to me, I'd probably be like, interesting. Yeah, I thought it was great. Did you guys see The Substance?
I haven't watched it yet.
Dude, not. Oh, I know, not yet.
Oh my
My
God, we're gonna have another episode. We're gonna bring Nate back on, and we're gonna talk about yo. First of all, kudos to Demi Moore, whatever you say her name. Kudos to her for going out on a limb and doing a genre film this late in her career. I actually think that movie is really, really, really well done. And then the third act comes and you're like, what the shit? Like, yeah, I thought it was fantastic. I really did.
I'm I'm killing myself over like not seeing it in theaters because I'm a huge Cronenberg guy. Like I love Fly, I love Videodrome, I love body horror shit, and I just hear everyone talking about. I'm trying so hard not to see anything because I want to experience it. But for the things that I have seen, I'm like, oh, this movie is going to be a 5 star for me. Like
Uh,
I can already tell.
you want to talk about cinematography, right? Like just the way some of the hallway shots are set, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's really well done. I'm like you. I'm a big Cronenberg fan. Like he is so unnervingly creepy that you have to kind of giggle because it's like dead ringers, right? Twin brothers who are gynecologists who invent their
Yeah.
own tools. It's like just saying that out loud, you're kind of like yeesh. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I love his stuff. So dark. And is his son that does movies?
Yeah,
I
didn't
think
he
it's
do
his
Infinity
son.
Yeah.
Pool?
Yeah.
He did Infinity Pool and he did the
That
other
was
one.
fucking great. Yeah.
The one
It,
before it, which was
his
wild.
his daughter too, I think, did the Humane movie as well, which I wasn't that big
Oh
of a
yeah,
fan
yeah, yeah,
of.
yeah.
It
Who
was like
did
it
Crimes of the
had
Future?
potential. That's him.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that was fucking
That's
wild
him.
too.
Which one?
Yeah.
Crimes of the Future.
Yes, yes. You know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of Possessor. That was
Oh yeah,
Cronenberg's
yeah, that was
son. That
cool.
movie was fucking wild. And he did
Yeah.
Antiviral, which is the custom diseases. Yeah. That
Yeah.
I don't know what's in the water up there in Canada, but yeah, I mean, awesome. Awesome.
I watched that remake of Speak No Evil last night, and I was like, why? Just
We
why
were
did you
watching
need
that
to do
tonight.
this? Why did you do this? What,
And
you didn't need it.
that's my wife's favorite horror movie, surprisingly.
Wow.
Is
Li-
Like of
Humane
Listen,
recent.
is Humane good?
it's all right.
Uh nah. It has potential.
Okay.
It definitely has like that potential to be something better, but I found it kind of to be kind of dry, honestly.
So let me ask you this, Nate. You're a Cronenberg fan. What did you think of Cosmopolis? That was the one that
Cosmopolis?
that was the one he did. It was just in the video with what's his name from Twilight, where he's having a breakdown.
I haven't seen it, so I
Uh
can't
Tim, have you
say.
seen it?
I haven't, no.
I go back and watch it. It was one of those movies where I watched the whole thing and I went, I don't know if I got that. And I actually watched it again right after and I went, now it makes sense. Yeah, check out Cosmopolis. It's what's his name? The dude from Harry Potter and Twilight and always looks like he's heartburn, the vampire, the sparkly vampire. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Talking about Robert Pattinson?
Yes, that's it. That's it. Yeah, watch Cosmopolis.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
Well, all right, one of
Oh
the
yeah.
best horror movies of the year, and a lot of people laughed at me when I said this. Oddity on Shudder was fucking
Yo,
I've been
great.
waiting to watch that.
yo, that was real. But British, so I think when it comes to like, especially like TV shows, films, the British have a very dialogue heavy, slow burn
Yeah,
release, which to me I really enjoy because if you're paying attention when the end hits, it's like you're like, whoa, shit, what the fuck was that? Luther, right? The
mm.
Fall. Some of their TV shows are amazing because it's character development. But yeah, Oddity was really good and really
Yeah, I
fucking
enjoyed
creepy
that, man.
too. Yeah.
Super creepy.
There was a couple of jump scares, and I'm not a big jump scare guy where I actually jumped and threw the remote across the room. So take it for what it's
Dude,
worth.
yeah, the cover intrigued me just having the figure standing there. It reminded me of this movie called Terrifier, or not Terrifier, Terrified.
Oh, dude,
It's a
Terrified
Spanish
was
film.
fucking great. Yeah.
Dude, yeah. I remember like
I thought Terrified was better than When Evil Lurks, honestly, in my honest opinion.
you know what? That is probably my favorite horror movie of the year still is When Evil Lurks. I fucking loved it. But I do agree,
I'm gonna
Terrified
watch that.
was fucking sick.
Dude, Terrified I watched in the beginning of the year, and I'll tell you what, man, I usually don't get creeped, but that movie gave me the fucking creeps, dude.
Oh,
Was that is
dude,
that on my
watching that
Plex?
like kid just sitting there, I was like,
Yeah,
fuck
dude.
this.
I remember turning the TV off at the end of the night and going, damn, that actually was fucking creeped me out. Holy shit. Cause
Yeah.
I usually never get creeped out of horror movies. Like my girlfriend's like, dude, you're fucking nuts. I'll just watch them at 2 a.m. by myself in the dark. And I'm just like having a beer or having a drink. And I just go to bed like, yeah, cool. That was good. But that movie
It,
was like, damn,
was
dude, that
that
one freaked me out.
2018?
Yeah, it's the same director of When Evil Lurks.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Damien Rugna. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, When Evil Lurks was fucking great, man. I love
I
that.
I love it.
I struggle with horror movies with subtitles. Not that I struggle, but we typically watch, we sit down with a meal and we'll watch a movie. And reading the subtitles, watch the movie at the same time doesn't work.
Hard.
So I have to pick I have to pick the moment where I could say, okay, honey, let's watch this. I gotta warn you, it's subtitles, right? Which is why we haven't touched Where Evil Lurks yet. The same reason.
That's fucking great though, dude.
What was the movie about the girl? It had subtitles. I think it was Revenge, where they leave her to die. That director just did another movie. Fuck.
Oh, dude, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you could picture the cover, right? 2017.
Yeah.
By who was the director?
While he's looking it up, though, I want to ask you a question, Nate. I think I think European horror, French or France, all them, all that. I think they put out the best horror right now. Like
100%.
all, I
Or
mean,
yeah,
yeah, all the
foreign
Euro
foreign
stuff is
in
great.
general.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think the United States has a big they have a big obstacle to overcome with getting original stuff and stuff that's just not remakes and shit like that. Because like the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen was the Martyrs remake. That pissed me off.
Oh, I refused to even watch that. I knew I was going to get mad. I
I
refuse to
was
watch it.
genuinely pissed off that they
Why the
remade
fuck would
that.
you do that?
Oh, it
Yeah.
was terrible.
There's no way it was. There was no way it was gonna land. My wife loves that first one, and I told her
Ooh,
there was a remake. And who's in it? Somebody big name is in it, isn't it?
I forget her name.
And she was like, "No, we're not watching that." Like what they remade Poltergeist. I'm like, do you want to watch this? No. Why would we watch that? Like the original was so good. Why? That house,
It's
by the way, was
like,
just for sale in
oh,
California.
really?
I texted it to my dad. I'm like, Dad, you want to go halvesies? He said, if you think I would spend one night in that fucking house, you are out of your mind.
It's like when they remade Halte Tension. It's like,
Yep,
why?
yep,
Why?
yep.
That's why I'm so hesitant to watch the Speak No Evil remake because I love the original so much, and I'm so fucking scared. Like if they didn't have the dude from fucking Split in it, I don't think I would have any interest to watch it.
I'll tell you this. McAvoy is really good in it, but they didn't need to do it. At the end of it, I was just like, they
Fuck.
didn't. I mean,
Oh, I'm literally watching it tonight. Fuck.
not that you're really supposed to differentiate it, or you're not supposed to really come off the cuff and make it your own. I guess you could if you wanted to, but it was just too much of the same. Where I was like, you automatically know what's going to happen, so you're like, ugh. But don't get me wrong, McAvoy was great in it, and he was a sick fuck in that. I'll tell you that much. I mean, don't
Is it shot for shot remake like kind of like Psycho?
kinda, yeah, dude. Like like
Fuck.
my
I
girlfriend
never.
last night was like, "Haven't we seen this before?" I'm like, "It's a remake."
Of
Yeah,
the foreign movie. Yeah.
yeah.
And it's like,
No,
oh, sorry.
no,
No,
go,
go
go, go, go.
I was gonna say like if you're gonna do a remake, do it like base like do like a Funny Games remake where same fucking director,
That's the movie I was
same
thinking of.
fucking yeah.
Funny Games, right? I
Yep.
mean, yo, I'm gonna honest, I was not prepared for that movie. I was not prepared for that
Dude,
movie at all.
Haneke said if anyone's gonna remake it, it's gonna be my fucking self. I'm not letting anyone ruin this.
Yeah, you know what? I'll get really pissed off if they remake a U.S. version is Frontiers. Like that'll really piss me
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
Oh,
They
yeah.
did. I mean, Tim, you know what they really should do? They should do an American remake of a Serbian film and just watch people come screaming out of the movie theater, right? Like,
They wouldn't do it
Oh
well though.
no.
yeah,
They
Funny
they
Games
wouldn't
was
do it well.
great. I knew I was in for a ride when she steals the shotgun and shoots the one guy, and then he grabs the remote and rewinds the movie. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, now we're doing something different here. Yeah, good stuff.
All right,
Tim Roth is so
how
good in it.
about this one's older, but this is another one that creeped me the fuck out at the end of it was The Dark and the Wicked. That movie was fucking great.
I don't remember that, Tim.
Oh, that's a fucking
The
great
Dark and
one.
the Wicked. Is that you said that's an older movie?
Yeah, it's like 3-4 years ago. It's fucking good though, man.
Oh, yeah, that was on Shutter, right?
Yeah,
Yes, that was
yeah,
really good. Yes, now
yeah,
that I saw the
Yeah.
cover, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Because I'm
Yeah,
looking through because I write everything down that I watch so I can like talk about stuff. I don't. There hasn't been really much good stuff this year, honestly.
dude, do you have Letterbox?
Is that an app? Let me
Yes. And
see.
I mean, I won't lie, it has made like movie watching kind of transactional for me, which I can't tell if it's a good thing or not. But I love it because like you can log all your movies and you can follow your friends and shit, and so you can always see what your friends are watching and like what they rated it and stuff.
Oh yeah, I do have it. Letterboxed with a D at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we
Oh
should we should
yeah,
follow
yeah.
each other on there.
Yeah, I'll have to make a let me make a thing on here and we'll do that because I'm always me and Jay are if we're not
I
talking music, it's movies.
yes, and I run a Plex server at home, Nate, and it's funny. I'll pick up a movie and it'll say activity watched by Tim, and I'm like, Jesus, this guy's just looking through all this shit. I should text him like, yo, is this any good? Okay, so aside from horror, Nate, what was your pick for some of the best stuff you've seen this year?
Some of the best stuff that I've seen this year. I've been watching a lot of Wong Kar-wai films, so Fallen Angels, In the Mood for Love. Um,
Okay.
big, big on that. Um, I think probably it's weird to say that this is my favorite movie because it's the most depressing film ever, but Come and See, I watched for the first time this
Let's
year,
see.
and dude, it, that movie will like it's still in my mind. Like it's a hard film to watch.
Come and see.
It's come and see. It's a Russian technically war movie, and I
Okay.
think it's from the 80s. It might be
Yeah, the
75.
80s.
Oh, Jay's definitely
Um,
seen that then.
Dude, I was so in awe. I immediately went on the Criterion website and bought the 4K edition of it because I was like, I have to own this movie. It was so crazy and thought provoking and like it sounds pretentious to say like it didn't feel like a movie. It felt like an experience, but like truly like I was like just completely gasped at the end of it. I was like, holy shit, like this is the ultimate like reflection on humanity.
Is it in
Um,
Russian?
yes.
Okay. I can deal with it. I know a lot. Like I know a lot of people are like,
Yeah,
"Fuck that."
it's not so much like you're not seeing a lot of things happening. It's more like mentally.
Okay.
And it's sad, but I feel like it's important to watch. Um,
I'll put
but
that on
aside
my
from
list.
that, I recently I watched Roman Polanski's Repulsion. I had a lot of fun watching that. That was a fun one. It's a
Who
little
was in that
horror
one?
movie.
Because
Trying to
I've
think of the actress's name. If I had my phone, I could figure it out real quick.
oh,
But
Catherine, what's her name? Deneuve. Yes, from
yep,
the Night
yep,
Porter. Yes.
yes, that's a fun one. And then there's a little kind of Dario inspired Italian film that I watched called Blood and Black Lace. That was pretty fun. I really liked it. It was super colorful, nice little like neo noir slasher. Really fun movie.
Oh, my dad just told me about that movie. My dad loves all that shit too.
I
He
Yeah.
always
I
asks me, "You watch this? You watch all these Dario things on Shutter?" I'm like, "Yeah, not yet. I will."
it's Suspiria. Suspiria, the
Sphere is
original
awesome.
Suspiria. I mean, you want to talk about a color palette that's like, do you want to talk about somebody who took the Technicolor button and went and just jacked it
Yeah.
up as high as he could? Um, I fell down a rabbit hole where I've been watching a lot of older 80s and 90s, like stuff I don't even remember, like Streets of Fire, Blue Collar, Blowout with John Travolta.
Oh,
You know
such
what
a
I
good
just
fucking.
downloaded? Crawl Space with Klaus Kinski, where that's the
I've
movie
heard that.
where that was the movie he did after Fitzcarraldo with Werner Herzog, where I just watched the documentary where the locals went to Werner Herzog and said, please let us kill Mr. Kinski because he was such an asshole. They wanted to kill the actor. Like they were like, forget it. Yeah, I love there's the more movies that come out now, the more I'm starting to really go back and look at some of the early stuff that was out there that I just a lot of William Friedkin, right? Like Sorcerer, right? He that
Hmm.
did you guys when
Yep.
he died, there was an interview that came out where it talked about how when he did To Live and Die in LA and they had the counterfeit money made up, he left it somewhere and somebody actually took it off the set and they were using it to buy shit in Los Angeles. Like, because he hired some professional counterfeiter to actually
Oh,
make the
fuck.
money. Like he was bananas. Like the story where in Sorcerer where they blow up a tree, and he hired an
Yep.
actual convicted arsonist from New York City. Like that's the
That's
stuff that to your
badass.
point, Nate, like shooting on 35 millimeter. Like that's the stuff that crazy shit. That's the stuff we probably won't see much of anymore, which is sad because that's the magic behind the movie, right?
Hmm. Yep.
That's some wild shit. All right, well we've been on for an
What,
hour.
one more.
Okay,
Have you guys seen Dream Scenario?
is that with
Yes,
Nick
loved it.
Cage?
Yeah.
Yes,
Cage kills it, man.
so
Cage
so creepy.
when he comes and farts at the same time, I could not stop laughing for like 20 minutes. That was the funniest fucking Nick Cage moment ever, aside from his character in Wild at Heart.
And wait, I got to get one more in here because this one blew my fucking mind. Bo is Afraid.
Love it.
Was
Love it.
that
I'm a big
good?
Ari Aster guy.
Yeah,
It's
Was
my
that
least
good?
favorite of his three so far, but I did enjoy it.
yeah. That
Okay.
was a fucking wild movie.
Okay, I will. I
Wild.
will. Yeah, I will. I will add that to the list. Okay, I
And
have it
I
downloaded, but I haven't watched it.
I lied. One more. In a violent nature. I'm sorry, but
Oh,
that one scene where he rips that chick apart is so fucking sick.
yeah.
Uh, Going out on a
I
limb. Did anybody watch the Crow remake?
I started it, fell
no,
asleep.
not yet. I
I
can't.
the
I can't,
fact
man.
that I want to, if only for the fact that the director of the original is on the internet talking shit about it. That like to me is like, yo, here we go. Like he's literally out there talking shit about it. It never should have been remade. I don't know what they were doing. Oh, it didn't do well. What a surprise! Like there is a morbid curiosity that I have to see it.
I'm gonna watch it, but it's gonna be hard to watch him murder Brandon Lee a third time.
Yeah,
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 yeah, dude. I
yep.
mean, I have the dude tattooed on me. That's obviously one of my favorite movies, but like I turned it on and I was just like, all right, I'm falling asleep. I'm just gonna turn it off. But I am gonna get through it too. I guess I have to.
Yeah.
I like Skarsgård too, so it's really tough because it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
great
what was
actor, but it's
what
gonna be awful. Like
what's the movie he just did where H. John Benjamin does the voiceover? Boy Kills World. Did you see that?
No.
no, I really want to watch it though.
Yeah, you're talking about like watching like The Raid 2. You need to watch this, Nate, because it's got the same level of
Okay.
action, but it's got fucking Archer doing the voiceover. So there's
Yeah, I
some like
know,
shit
dude.
that he says where you're like, and then one of my
He's
favorite
like, oh my
character
God.
actors, right? One of my favorite character actors is Charlton Copley from District 9 and Chappie,
Yep.
and he is
Dude,
just
I just
so
watched District 9 the
nuts.
other day with my girl. I showed my wife District 9 the other day. And at first she was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. And I was like, just let it cook. And it was like once he got injected with the stuff and he started turning into the prawn, she was like, oh, this is awesome. And I was
Yeah,
like, yeah, this
he,
is
he
such an underrated movie.
he's like in real life, he's legitimately nuts. He was supposed to be in that one movie where Timothy Oliphant took the role because he would only take the role if he could glue Spock ears on his ears because he was playing an alien. Like total madman. My God, I'm gonna be up till like 3 in the morning tonight just catching up on all this shit. All right,
What's
Nate.
the
So
what's
go on.
the what's the movie that I told you to watch, Jay, and you're like, I had to turn it off. It was so bad. It had oh God. It was like the serial killer dude.
Oh, the house that Jack built.
Yeah, that was so
I
fucking
You
good.
didn't
I
like that?
it was it's not that I didn't like it. It was brilliant, but it was too disturbing for me. When he's
Oh,
on the couch with the girlfriend, I turned it off. I looked at Kim and I went, nope. And then eventually, like weeks later, I put it back on. I fast forwarded through that scene because I wanted to see the end because it's Dante's Inferno, right? And
yes.
I mean it is a brilliant movie, but deeply fucking uncomfortable. Like
Yeah.
I loved it.
Loved
that's
it.
the stuff where it literally made my skin crawl. It made my skin crawl because he was so good in that role. It's just
Yeah, that was fucking great, man.
I need a
Yeah.
brainwasher. You know, I put in something brain dead to watch after that. I don't know, one of the Planet of the Apes movies.
Well,
Did
dude,
you
listen, when the new record comes out, we're gonna get you on again. We're gonna talk horror again because there's so
Good.
much stuff coming out that we could talk for hours about this stuff. So
I'll talk old and new all day about horror and just movies in general. Like I said, I'm a cinephile. That's like if I wasn't doing something in music, it would probably be something in film. So that is easy for me to talk about.
you could
okay?
you could still do it, man.
Yeah.
You're
So
young.
what? One last question, Nate. One last question. Movie related. Is there one movie where you literally finished the movie and you just sat there in silence and it took you for a loop? It took a couple days to get it out of your head. Is there one movie where you were like, I need to walk?
That was definitely come and see. Um,
Okay.
that is definitely the one. And that's the thing. I'm not trying to like overhype it or anything. Like I genuinely felt like gross after that. I kind of felt that way after watching Midsummer as well. As far as recent movies. Um, so yeah, my answer would probably be come and see.
Okay.
Doesn't change.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna have to watch this now.
Yeah, I'll throw it in Plex. All right, Nate. So if people want to find MirrorCell, where do they go?
Anywhere you listen to music. Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, Deezer. I don't know if anyone uses that. Um, yeah, you just look up MirrorCell. That's where we're at, or you can look us up at mirrorcell.tv, and then our links are all below on the bio. So
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we'll
Well,
we'll link all that stuff too.
yeah,
So.
we'll throw links to everything in the show notes. So again, I want to thank Nate for coming on. It's been an awesome conversation. We're looking forward to the next one. We'll do an hour on the new album. We'll do 2 hours on movies. Next time, Tim and I'll come better prepared. We want to thank everyone who's watching and listening once again. Newbreed_podcast, Twitter and Instagram. Newbreedpodcast@gmail.com. 267-297-4627 for your voicemail complaints. Tune in every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern for new episodes. Every Friday at 12 p.m. on our YouTube channel, where we do half drunk reaction vids. Until next week, it's Jay, Tim, and Nate saying cheers.
Later.